Hi there, and welcome back to Viper Bites presented by the Fantasy Points Media Group. Hey, take a second right now, go to fantasypoints.com, enter promo code Vipers22, and get yourself 10% off that subscription today. And while you're here, hit that thumbs up, hit that notification button, and make sure you are subscribed to the Vipers Network on YouTube. Hey, we got your attention. Why not? When you're listening to us on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, take a second and rate and review us. And now, let's get in. Let's continue to talk about the top 5 Dynasty fantasy football assets for each one of these teams here with the Buffalo Bills now on deck. Circle the wagons, Bills Mafia. Here we go. Starting with Josh Allen, currently going off the board for Dynasty Experts rankings as QB1. The 31st player coming off those boards right now is the young gunslinger himself. Is there anything that needs to be said about Josh Allen? I mean, all the guy has done is throw for 4,400 yards and 36 touchdowns in each of the last 2 seasons. And while that normally be enough to be considered one of the best quarterbacks in the league, he has at least 400 yards rushing in each of the 4 seasons as a professional here right now. Then you take into account there, he's got at least 6 touchdowns in each one of those seasons. So he's not afraid to call his own number when he needs to. With Devin Singletary finishing his 2021 strong and James Cook now in the fold, maybe, just maybe, Josh Allen doesn't feel the need to call his number nearly as often as what he did. But that Konami code ability, that will always be there. Now, fun fact, per PFF, 40% of Allen's runs either went for first downs or touchdowns, which was the highest total of any ball carrier with a minimum 100 attempts. Yeah, that's not bad. Now let's talk about some of these wide receivers that Josh Allen's going to be throwing to for the next few seasons, starting with Stefan Diggs. Currently, experts have him ranked as the wide receiver 8 in Dynasty, the 17th overall player selected here. Diggs was targeted 29.8% of the time when the Bills reached the red zone, catching 19 of those 34 targets, including 10 touchdowns. If you're catching touchdowns, if you're getting targets in the red zone, you are going to have value, not only next year, but years after. This is something, this Josh Allen, Stefan Diggs connection, this is working out 100%. That is actually fairly consistent, though, with everything else that Diggs is seeing. This is Diggs' story. He is one of Allen's favorite targets, commanding an impressive 25.2% target share in 2021, along with those 103 receptions. Allen and Diggs are tied together until 2028, when Diggs' contract is expected to expire there. So it is safe to make the assumption that what we've so far experienced between this duo since Diggs was traded to Buffalo, this is likely to continue for the next 3 to 4 seasons. So just for reference, here, over the past 2 seasons, only one wide receiver has seen 150 targets in each year. That receiver, Stefan Diggs. Now, who Diggs is playing opposite of there? Gabrielle Davis, currently Dynasty. He's the hot name right now in Dynasty. Currently going off the board as the wide receiver 37 in most rankings here right now. 80th overall player. Listen, Davis, I'm going to tell you this right now. Davis will not duplicate what he did in those 2 playoff games a season ago, at least not on a consistent basis. Sure, he'll have his moments, but look, 10 receptions, 242 yards, 5 touchdowns in 2 games. That is not realistically sustainable, no matter who you are, especially when you look at the body of his regular season work. In 15 regular season contests, Davis would catch 35 passes for 549 yards and 6 touchdowns. Having been married to an elite quarterback and playing opposite of a true number 1 receivers, it has its benefits there. Now, you take into the departures of guys like Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders. There's more opportunities, more targets for Gabrielle Davis to pick up here. In Buffalo, there are 194 vacated targets available. So Davis, yeah, he's in a prime position to absorb many of them. Another guy who's going to get some of those targets is going to be Dawson Knox. Currently, Dynasty rankings have him as the tight end 10 moving forward and overall 102nd player. Red zone targets matter, and Dawson Knox, like Stefan Diggs, is a favorite when the Bills get the ball down in that area of the field. Knox was targeted 18 times in the red zone last year, 15.8%, hauling in 11 passes with a 61.1% catch rate and 6 touchdowns. Sure, the Bills, they added some names there like Jamison Crowder, and Gabrielle Davis seems to be, like I said, that breakout player everyone wants to be talking about. But the Bills, they did not move on from Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders this past offseason, which is going to help increase not only Davis's target share, but Knox's target share as well, which happened to be a respectable 10.8%. Let's not overlook the hiring of Ken Dorsey, who has played with some pretty good tight ends back in his day, going back to Miami and whatnot. Jeremy Shockey, Kellen Winslow, and understand the importance of having a big, reliable target. We have also seen an increase in his targets, 44 to 71 last couple of years. His catch rate increased from 54% to 69. This is all taking place in the last 2 years. There's reason to believe that this trend continues. Dawson Knox is going to have a big-time career here over the next 3 to 4 seasons. Now, the player that the Bills just drafted, James Cook. He's going off the board at running back 30 right now. Overall, the 85th player being selected. This time last year, we didn't know if it would be Devin Singletary or Zach Moss, or even Josh Allen, who would lead this rushing attack. Singletary earned himself a more prominent role moving forward. They're finishing the season last year, scoring a touchdown on the ground in 6 straight contests, including the playoffs, and 9 touchdowns over that 6-game span. But when you get a chance to draft a player the caliber of James Cook with the abilities that he possesses, you have to do it. Now, Cook's strength will be in his pass-catching abilities. He will create mismatches against linebackers in coverage and become a more immediate contributor in the passing game than perhaps in the run game. In 2021, while splitting time in the backfield with Zamir White, Cook would have 113 carries for 728 yards, averaging 6.4 yards per carry, while adding 7 touchdowns on the ground. He also chipped in the pass catching there with 27 receptions for 140 yards and 7 more scores. Hey, Bills, there's plenty to be excited about here right now in Buffalo. This is one of the premier fantasy spots for all your needs here right now. You got more needs in fantasy football? Head to fantasypoints.com. Promo code Vipers22. No brainer. See you next time.